This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
There are entire communities that are underwater.
Someone after a storm might say, man, I need one thing. And then they get a kit of 17 items and they're like, actually, I need it all.
The Senate's going to be having lunch today. Lunch to discuss cuts to food programs.
6, and then they all go 7.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. Economic espresso shot. There's great news if you're buying a house or a car. The Fed just cut a key interest rate for the second time this year to shore up economic growth and hiring. James Freeman is with the Wall Street Journal.
This economy is rolling along.
Fox Business anchor David Asman thinks the Fed can and should cut rates even more.
Something that needs to be shaken up about the Fed is this idea. It's a theory called the Phillips curve, which is that the more growth you have, the more inflation. I think we've disproved that.
And they've signaled that they might in December. The current rate as of today is 3.75%. To our south, Jamaica is in search and rescue mode after taking a direct hit from Hurricane Melissa yesterday.
Officials have been telling us there are entire communities on the island's southwest end that are underwater. We're really just beginning to see some videos emerge.
Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness says 70% of the island has no power, and some hospitals have had catastrophic damage.
There's scarcely any building or infrastructure that would escape without some form of damage.
Back in the U.S., dozens of relief groups are already mobilizing to get on the ground as fast as possible to help the Jamaican people. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The group American Friends of Jamaica has already raised $1 million. President Wendy Hart hopes to raise another $1 million.
That will go to immediate relief efforts and rebuilding efforts.
The Jamaica Independence Foundation is collecting donations. CEO J. Lexi Brooks.
So we're hoping to target single mothers with children who are displaced.
Greg Martin and his group Disaster Relief at Work will fly in donated supplies.
Someone after a storm might say, man, I need one thing. And then they get a kit of 17 items and they're like, actually, I need it all.
Melissa is now a Category 2 storm with 100-mile-an-hour winds. The Bahamas and Turks and Caicos will experience a near miss of the hurricane tonight. 140,000 people are cut off by a rising river in Cuba after the storm hit there early this morning. More than 30 people are dead because of Melissa. Now to the Middle East. The Israeli military struck 30 targets in Gaza today, saying Hamas has violated the ceasefire. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer.
The strikes stopped this morning. There were, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, 100 casualties, some deaths, and quite a few children. For the moment, the ceasefire is apparently back in effect and holding. I think anybody would admit it's pretty fragile.
President Trump says the meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping went well today in South Korea.
We're rewarding those who build and create and hire and invest in the USA, and we're making America the best place on earth to do business.
Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt.
There's China, there's everybody else. President Trump's been incredibly successful in dealing with everybody else to get rid of these post-Cold War raw deals that we had. We were getting ripped off, and now it's China. I think everybody understands the stakes, and I think President Trump's going to get a good deal for the American people.
Trump and Xi Jinping reached a verbal agreement, but nothing on paper. They were discussing lowering tariffs on Chinese goods in exchange for Beijing cracking down on the fentanyl that's flooding into this country. California is among 24 states, that's half the country, suing the Trump administration to try to stop SNAP benefits from running out this weekend. Governor Gavin Newsom.
The Senate's going to be having lunch today. Lunch to discuss cuts to food programs. Hope they enjoy their lunch.
It's all because of the government shutdown. The Senate did not hold a vote today. And this just in, Dictionary.com came out with its word of the year. If you're under 20, you might have no idea what it is. It's that number that kids have been using to torment their parents and teachers endlessly.
6, and then they all go 7.
If you need a little translating here, apparently it's slang for so-so. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, a drought update for New York and Pennsylvania. Elise Stefanik gains more ground, and diaper changing stations in men's bathrooms. We'll tell you why after weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Increasingly cloudy. Rain will spread from south to north across Pennsylvania overnight, reaching the southern tier counties of New York late. Low temps tonight, mid-30s to the mid-40s. Tomorrow it's a cloudy day, a damp, dark day, with a soaking rain and gusty breezes. Drought relief for some. High temperatures, low 50s, and blustery chilly on Friday, variably cloudy with showers and high temperatures in the 40s and lower 50s.
Yep, Kevin hit it on the head. Drought relief, and that's where we begin as we check the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. That coming rain, welcome news for drought-stricken parts of the Keystone and Empire states. State Forest Ranger Garrett Beers.
We're down, I believe it's about 7+ inches of rain from where we usually are this time of year over the last 90 days. So it is very, very dry.
The southern tier in western New York remain under a drought warning, as does much of northwestern Pennsylvania. A new poll by the conservative Manhattan Institute shows Elise Stefanik with a slight lead over Governor Hochul in next year's gubernatorial race. Stefanik, a North Country GOP congresswoman, has yet to declare her candidacy. A similar poll taken in August by Siena College gave Hochul a 14-point edge. Next Tuesday, New York City will pick a mayor, and Pennsylvania will choose to keep or unseat 3 Supreme Court justices. It's a decision that happens in the Keystone State only once every 10 years. Those justices could decide the fate of election laws, redistricting, and abortion in the Keystone State. Political analyst Bunny Pound says it's critical for Christians to get to the polls next Tuesday, even if this election seems minor.
We have to realize that we have to fill this gap because these kind of non-election years can be critical elections. Whoever decides those Supreme Court seats will affect every Pennsylvanian. Whoever leads the city of New York will affect millions and millions of people in the most important city in our country.
Pounds also says it's about educating yourself and about those small day-to-day conversations you have with those that disagree with your values.
We have to do something, and we have to stand up in these moments and be consistent every day and every week.
She set up a website with voting resources and short videos to understand more about biblical positions on political issues. You can find that at christiansengage.org. It has been an anxious fall semester for students at 7 Penn State University campuses across the Commonwealth that are slated for closure in the next couple of years. These Penn State Wilkes-Barre campus students tell WNEP that PSU's fiscal priorities are misplaced, pointing to Penn State President Neely Bandaputi's $1.4 million salary as one example.
I think there's a lot of students who could benefit more from that than she can. I think she makes enough already as it is.
I wish it was kind of like that salary could have been to our campus for the next few years.
Wilkes-Barre, Du Bois, and Shenango's campuses stopped accepting new students this fall and will wind down operations after the spring 2027 semester. And giving dad a leg up. There's a bill in the works to put diaper changing stations in men's bathrooms in Pennsylvania. Supporters say diaper duty is increasingly falling on married, single, and stay-at-home dads, as well as grandpas and male babysitters. But baby changing stations in the Keystone State are lacking. If the bill passes, it would require the stations in new and updated men's bathrooms. Next at 5, highlights from today's Real Answers. The devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica hits home for licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson, who spent years there as part of a missionary team. He told our own Mark Webster that people who've only vacationed there may not grasp how desperate a situation this is. Let's listen in.
A lot of times when people do take vacations to these island nations or Central American or Mexico resort areas, you're right, they stay in these walled off, gated off communities or in these big resorts that do not give them a real accurate picture, a real accurate experience of what life is like there. And you're absolutely right. You see a completely different side of life once you get out of those resort areas and get into the interior and the heart of the nations. The people are going to be facing a very, very difficult situation, particularly on the western side of the island, not too far actually from a ministry that has its roots right here in our listening area. Don and Elaine Schiffer, if I could give them a shout out. They're the ones that are part of the Follow the Source and actually headed up Follow the Source Discipleship Training Center right in southern St. Elizabeth. A lot of folks don't have structures that are really able to sustain a Category 5 hurricane direct hit.
Yeah,
so
for
it is
sure.
very much a very tenuous situation.
Yeah. The resort hotels are one thing, but the ramshackle places with the corrugated tin roofs, they're just not going to stand up to this. So with that background, we move to the other focus of today's discussion, which is reacting to a disaster and reaching out to those affected. Traditionally, America has been among the nations quickest to help other countries in need, but I guess there's a question out there whether that dynamic is changing.
It has, I believe, and sadly, I think that more and more people are much more concerned about helping out folks at home as opposed to other nations. Now, I'm not against that. I'm not against helping out our own folks. Of course I'm not. But at the same time, with such a tight connection that I've had since 1993, honestly, it makes it harder for me to restrict my views to I'm just going to help out folks in my own backyard. We really are a blessed nation, and we have the ability to help out folks in other nations as well, especially nations like Jamaica that they don't have the resources that we have. There are so many really good ways that we can give these days. Organizations that are solid Christian organizations like Samaritan's Purse and another ministry that's actually based in our listening area as well. It's One by One Jamaica. And they do an amazing work not too far away from Don and Elaine Schiffer there that I was just telling you about. And quite honestly, we have the resources to help out our folks in our backyard as well as folks in other areas of the world that need our assistance as well.
That's licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson on today's edition of Real Answers. You can hear the entire feature and all of Family Life's original news features at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
In Matthew 6:21, Jesus tells us, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. That verse reminds us that our giving reveals our priorities. Many believers wonder, where should I give? In Acts 2 and 4, we see believers sharing resources within their faith community, supporting those who taught and led them. That's a wonderful model for us today. The local church is a great place to begin. But beyond that, we're also called to be open-handed toward the causes and people God places on our hearts. When we give, whether to our church or other ministries, it's more than meeting needs. It's an act of worship. Every gift, large or small, becomes a way to honor God and join Him in His work. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, 5 billion people do this every day. We'll tell you what it is after one last look at weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. After several days of cool, calm, and rather quiet weather, things are beginning to change. The expected area of low pressure to bring us a soaking rain and some wind is still on the way. The impacts will be felt later tonight, tomorrow, through tomorrow night, and Friday. Blustery and chilly weather will carry us down into the start of the upcoming weekend. The call for tonight, increasingly cloudy. Rain will spread from south to north across Pennsylvania overnight, reaching the southern tier counties of New York late. Low temps tonight, mid-30s to the mid-40s. Tomorrow it's a cloudy day, a damp, dark day, with a soaking rain and gusty breezes. Drought relief for some. High temperatures, low 50s, and blustery chilly on Friday, variably cloudy with showers and high temperatures in the 40s and lower 50s.
Thank you, Kevin. Finally at 5, happy birthday to the internet. Here's Family Life's Mark Webster.
Yeah, it was this day in 1969 when a computer the size of a small house at UCLA began transmitting the word logon to another house-sized computer at Stanford, 350 miles away. In what should have been a warning to all of us, only the L and O got set before the system crashed. But they eventually rebooted and got it figured out, and ARPANET, the Defense Department forerunner of the Internet, was born. The inventors could hardly have imagined that today over 5 billion users log on around the world every day, sending each other 330 billion emails a day, and somehow consuming, on average, close to 7 hours of our lives each day.
Does not compute. Does not compute.
Mark Webster, Family Life News.
And that's the world that we live in for Wednesday, the 29th of October. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast.
If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.